What's up, traders? Going 5 for 6 today. Sorry for the late video, but here it is. Let's get to it. All right, so just going to start from the beginning. FUBO was our first trade. Previous resistance, high of day from yesterday. I went through it. Looked to get short. Did at the at the jiggle. It actually went a little bit through that, but it ended up coming back down. Ended up being a fairly decent first trade. The second trade we took was on LOTZ, LOTZ. And this was a frustrating one because I thought we nailed it, and then it kind of faked us out, and then we ended up getting some of it. But previous resistance from high of day yesterday at $6. As we zoom in, you'll see the trade itself went through. We actually hit it here around like 610, 612. And it kept on going to 620, which if you watch the live stream, you'll know that was what I was looking for. It shot up through, and then I'm pretty sure we hit the button as it was through, but as it was coming back down is when we got filled at 618. We ended up taking half of that off here at 609. I think we had an order out. Maybe I'm pretty sure it was 609. I think we had that order out. And then we were trying to ride the rest of it down lower. Was going to look to take half off at 6 and then look to get the other half down, wherever it would go. However, it decided to shoot all the way back up. So it looked like it was about to plow through high of day. So we took half of it off. So we took 50 of the 100 that we had left off, looking for a big move back up. And we were going to look to add 100 back on top of the 50 that we were still left with to average up, as well as to stay in this trade because we still liked it. Because we never really got like that huge pullback that we were looking for, at least to test $6. However, it was a fake out breakout, immediately shot right back down, and so we were left holding only the 50 shares that we still had left, and we ended up covering those down around $6. Still a decent trade, but definitely not as good as it could have been. Either it doesn't go high of day here, and we get to hold our 100 shares all the way down to 6, and then take half off like planned, and then ride the other 50 down. Or we get to add those shares back if it runs. Those were the two good scenarios. The only bad scenario was if it was a fake out breakout right above the highs and it shoots back down just like it did. And you can see that topping tail on this candle. And so that ended up just being an annoying trade because it could have been a lot better than it was. Next trade was on NTNX. This one we took really small shares because it was volume out of nowhere. As you can see, it was off the bottom as well. Pretty much just saw it shoot through this previous high, which was from yesterday. And we took a short right at the whole dollar, came back down, tested that area, took it off. And then as you can see, it was a good idea because it eventually went way higher on that same exact move. I really wanted to get back into this thing. I just didn't like how it was moving. I'm pretty sure it kind of started to feel like a grinder, and I never got back into it. What was the next trade here? WWR. This was a really good trade. We ended up smashing this thing. Really liked this previous. It was already a pretty big move. It formed a previous resistance here at a lower high there at 515. If we scroll in on the trade, you'll see it got rejected there, came up, made a nice little move through. We tried to hit this up at 550, but got a horrible fill down here at, what was the fill? If it'll let me, 532. And then obviously it ended up going higher, and I believe we started with 75 shares. Yep, 75. And we actually added 50 and 50 for 100 to go a little bit higher than 75. I just wanted to, I was actually planning on hitting it at 550 and then above 550, but it actually went through. So I just hit 50-50 twice real quick, and then it started to go a little bit higher, and you could feel it was topping out, so we added another 100 to it. So we ended up hitting 200 shares up here versus our 75 position starter. And it ended up coming back down. There was actually 3 orders. You can kind of see the green arrow overlapping another green arrow. That was because when it was coming back down, we took off a good chunk of it. Yeah, 150. And then we had 75 down lower, and then we had the 50 even down lower. And it started to come down, and then it bounced. And it started to bounce. It looked like it was stalling around like 545. And I didn't want it to shoot back up through 550 with the majority of the shares. So I drug the 75 share order up, and wouldn't you know it, it didn't actually go up. It actually continued down. And so when we got that 40 flush as well, it stopped at like 35, I don't know, somewhere around there, and started to bounce again. And I was like, all right, I'll just be happy with the trade because it's not really working out the way that I wanted, because I wanted that 75 and 50 way closer to this previous resistance. And just the way that the price action felt, it felt like it might stall and try to bounce back up, and it just never did. So it kept giving that stall like it wanted to bounce, but then it just never bounced. And then it ended up, obviously going lower. So a little frustrated on that one, but that actually ended up being our biggest trade of the day. And then ATOS, that was all our trades that we had live on stream. And then afterwards, we only got one more trade on ATOS, which was another frustrating one. We got short here. It tried to go down. We were looking for this previous resistance closer down to 680. It just couldn't really give it to us. And it kept trying to bounce. It actually went higher. And then as it was coming back down, I wanted that test to 7 at least, and we couldn't get it. So to me, that was signaling that this thing was still strong. And so when it went back up to our average, we just took it off. As you can see, it's basically break even. It did go down and test 7. It never actually got to 7. It got to 701, and then it ended up going higher. So my thesis on it being a stronger stock, because it didn't want to test that key area, was right. So it did end up going higher. Obviously, later in the day, it ended up tanking. But obviously, we're not looking to hold long term. We're just looking for those big, intense moves into the pullback. And that's what we look for. What it does after that, we don't care. Say it all the time. And that's all I have for you. We ended up finishing up over our goal for the day, which is good. Really was hoping to get more out of some of the trades today. It still felt like another day where there wasn't a lot going on. There wasn't a lot of momentum. Kind of felt like we forced a couple trades in there as well. Not forced, but like we were playing, like C plus B minus type setups instead of, just letting those A plus setups come to us all day, and they just weren't there. So going to take what we got. Happy to make gold today. Hopefully we can do that again today. We need to get a little bit over goal the remainder of the days to make up for Monday, which we were only about 75% goal if we want to scale up for next week. So really hoping to do that. Hence, like the ATOS trade here, I was really looking to kind of pad the stats a little bit, but unfortunately that one didn't work out. And that's all I got for you. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Always appreciate that support. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Peace.